All right. All right.
See. Oh, was I was on mute, wasn't I?
Yeah. I cannot get the screen to move over. I don't know how to do it.
Mhm.
I am so ready to quit. I am so ready to quit.
Oh, was I was on mute, wasn't I?
Yeah. I cannot get the screen to move over. I don't know how to do it.
Mhm.
I can't, expand it because I can't get the thing to move over.
Mhm.
Okay, well, I don't really care anymore. You know?
You need to just mute the YouTube channel, mute the video.
I have muted this over here.
Okay. If it's muted, then it won't do that echo thing. So we should be
Are
good.
you getting an echo? I don't know how to move this over.
No, I don't hear it. It's not coming through the TV anymore. When it's not muted, then it'll come through the TV. So
Okay, I need to go to the light like now.
we are going to the light. What I was saying is, welcome everyone. We're beginning our joining in light group. We're beginning with light and asking Jesus what desire it's most helpful to look at together in this joining. Two of the possible desires we could look at is the relishing the belief that death will bring peace, and relishing the experience that if I go to God, I will die. And these two desires we watched a movie on this last Saturday called The Room. And that's where these desires are coming from watching that movie and then asking Jesus what desires we have in our below our level of awareness. And how it works is we watch the movie and then we watch the movie as the light and then let Jesus tell us what we need to look at. So the two were relishing the belief that death will bring peace, and relishing the experience that if I go to God, I will die.
I've heard the second one.
Yeah, you heard the second one. Relishing the experience that if I go to God, I will die. And relish, we can begin with the light, and then also we use the Joining in Light Miracle worksheet as a reference guide to help if we need some guidance with the what step we're on. So Jesus, do we have a desire to experience going to God? We'll die if we go to God. And I hear yes. Are there any other desires that you're hearing?
We talked about it earlier this afternoon, and that's the one I put down in the title. That's the one I heard.
So we'll just ask what's most helpful.
I think we've already been through those steps.
Yeah, what is most helpful right now in this moment to look at? So we're jumping in, we're doing a deep dive, and we're just going directly to the death wish. And I hear, this is looking at wanting death more than God. That there's a confusion between those. That God is death.
What I'm hearing is that the I that thinks it will die if it goes to God is the personal identity.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the death of the ego, the death of the personal identity, which is going to fight going to God, because yes, it will disappear if it goes to God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'll be seen that there's no it's like the going part, like the part of that is that there's this idea that I have to go to God, that I'm not already, that God's not already here. So it's like denying that God is here. Doing a wanting of something.
What I'm hearing is then I want to avoid any approach of God, any opening to God, because the ego is so afraid. There's a part of my mind is afraid it will die.
Yeah, I associate ending, death with ending. The end, like the end, that's it. There's nothing after that. And there's some tension or holding with that. Even just seeing that, I feel like I just need to ask if there's a willingness to just put that in the light, or just see that. You may have a miracle for that thought.
So you're asking for a pre-miracle for attention that's coming up?
Yeah, yeah, a miracle for the tension that's arising at looking at it. For the it's what I hear is not wanting not wanting the miracle, or not wanting an end to the desire for death, which is, it's showing up as if I go to God, I will die, but it's really protecting the desire for death.
So what are we looking at?
We are looking at the desire that if I go to God, I will die.
I got that, but I'm
Yeah.
confused about the whole tension thing. Are we looking for a pre-miracle for the tension? I think that's all kind of going sideways.
I'm just asking for a miracle for the tension, at looking at the desire.
Yeah, I'm not hearing that.
I might have an internet, when I get an incoming call, the internet sometimes stops.
Okay, so I'm looking at the relishing. I look at the relishing, and he's giving me some information about the relishing of not wanting to go to God because I'm afraid I'll die.
Yeah, what I was hearing is that I don't want the miracle for it. So there's more to see.
Well, that's another desire.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, for this, I don't want the miracle for this.
For this desire of if you
Uh-huh.
go to God, you'll die.
Yes.
Okay, well, that's to me is getting, let's go ahead and stay with the relishing. Yeah. I'm confused. Seems like the relishing of this desire, fear that I'll die if I go to God, is just another delay tactic, another way to find an excuse not to go to God. And relishing that whole belief that if I go to God, I'll die. There's so much fear in that too. Fear of dying just because I go to God. Jesus, what else would you have us see here? The relishing of this desire. And what value do I get out of it? it seems to give me permission to do my own thing. If I'm going to die, if I go to God, then I'll just do my own thing. What are you hearing?
Mm. Yeah. Feels like protection. And I see pleasure in it.
It's wanting to control for death, not wanting to die. So therefore I avoid death, which is supposedly avoiding God.
Yeah, there's definitely a flip in the mind of death and life. And so there's that confusion. It's just like staying with that wanting there to be death, wanting there to be something that dies.
Relishing, if I go to God, I will die.
Yeah, like that there is something that dies and that
I die. The I.
insistence. It's like insisting that something
It's like avoiding God at all costs.
Mhm. And what do you hear for holding a release? Is this holding?
It seems there's just still the relishing of the desire, really looking at the relishing. So I don't know if I have a sense yet of whether I'm holding or releasing.
Mm.
What are you hearing?
That if it's not immediate, like release, like yes, this is release, then it's holding. If there's not like a straightforward like yes, then there's still some holding, and then there's still something to see. And so is there something below the desire, or do we just stay with what we're looking at?
We stay with the desire. What are
Yeah.
you hearing for yourself in terms of holding and releasing?
I feel like there's just willingness to, because there's a willingness to, I, um, a willingness to to just rest as the light. So there's not like a pushing or a pulling going. It's more of just like just to sit with it.
Sit with the relishing or sit with the light?
Yeah, sit to be as the light and just stay with the relishing of it. Like there's no,
Yeah, I've
yeah,
been hearing the whole time is just stay with the relishing, stay with the
yeah,
relishing, stay with the relishing.
yeah. I also hear that there's like for value, there seems to be peace in avoiding, like insisting that if I go to God, I'll die.
So in avoiding going to God, there's peace.
Mm.
Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really making peace the bad guy here.
It's what now?
It's making peace the bad guy. Like peace.
It's making peace the bad guy.
Yeah, to completely um yeah, just this whole desire to that if I go to God, I'll die. Like, do I value that more Do I value that more, this desire more than God? Or are we ready for a miracle?
I'm hearing go deeper in the relishing. See what else Jesus has to say about the full relishing of this desire to think we're going to die if we go to God.
Yeah, I hear more as well. Mm. But I do hear release. I hear that there's release.
Jesus, am I willing to see this desire is not true? It's not true that if I go to God, I will die. Am I willing to let go of that belief?
I hear yes. That we're just like it's just a play in consciousness to to pretend that we can leave God and that we have to return to God. We have to, it's like a play of leaving and then having to go back. Like there's something we have to go back to God. And then making that seem like we're gonna die if we do that. And it's just the flip of that, the flip of the flip in consciousness of life and death. Because we see that life is here, we see that the light is here. So we just go to the light first, and then we can just ask if there's any more relishing.
We always start with the light, but we really want to focus on the relishing.
Yeah, and we want to make sure that we're checking in and that we're not holding. That's all. That's what
sometimes
I mean.
we recognize we're holding. A lot of the deeper dives are where we realize we're holding, and we just keep looking and looking and looking.
Okay, so is that what you're hearing, that we're holding? Or there's holding?
I'm hearing holding.
Mhm.
There's a willingness to see that there's an openness to seeing that this desire is not true.
Mhm. Yeah, what I was hearing is it's not working. I really want to insist that it works, that it's a good, I can justify death in this way. Yet we've made such a strong commitment to God, to ourself, that the desires, are not carrying as much weight. They just can't in the light. They have no value, and so there's a willingness to see that it doesn't have any value.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Jesus, are we ready for a miracle with this then? To see that it's untrue. If we go to God, we'll die.
Yeah, I'm hearing that there's holding actually.
Mm. There's certainly unwillingness on part of the ego. Belief that if I go to God, my identity will die.
What's the desire that you're looking at?
We're looking at relishing the experience that if I go to God, I will die.
So where's the heaven in that? Because I feel like there's some kind of avoidance or holding. So where's the heaven in that? In not going to God.
Yeah, what I was hearing was that then that just gives me an excuse to do what I want. If going to God means I'm going to die, then I'm not going to God. I'll just
But
go.
then I guess there's a belief that dying is happiness somewhere, that
Mm.
happiness comes from dying.
I was
Yeah.
hearing peace. Jesus, do I have, or do I believe, or am I looking for happiness?
Do I believe that it's happiness not to go to God, to have
Do
God's
I,
Yeah,
do I believe that it's happiness not to go to God?
yeah.
Yeah.
If I go to God, I'm going to die.
and that's happiness.
If I die,
Yes. Ask Jesus, do I believe death is happiness rather than going to God?
Yes.
My happiness comes from death. Jesus, do I believe my happiness comes from death? Yes. That's a great way to see the flip pretty quick. is to see how much happiness there is in death. And it's relished.
But it's pleasure, right? Is that,
Well, ask him, Jesus, do I derive a lot of pleasure from
yes.
the idea of death?
Yes.
Do I feel like there's happiness in dying?
Yes. And freedom.
And the belief that if I defy God, that's happiness.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. There's a lot of happiness and pleasure in defiance.
Yes. See, the ego believes there's pleasure in the holding.
In holding.
Yes. It gets a lot of pleasure from the holding. Ask Jesus, do I get a lot of pleasure from holding out, from seeing, just accepting a miracle?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do I get a lot of pleasure out of making the correction as slow as possible?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would rather die. Jesus, would I rather die than have a fast correction?
Yes.
A fast correction is not possible.
But I'd rather die than see that correction's instantaneous.
Yes.
It makes all the kerfuffle get over too quickly. I have to give up all my fighting with God.
Jesus, do I believe fighting with God is happiness and freedom and peace?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a reward, is what I hear.
What's that?
A reward.
Mm.
Jesus, do I believe I'm going to be rewarded if I defy God?
Yes.
I see Gollum kind of rubbing his hands.
Is there more with the reward, the desire, or is there more to see with that, the reward?
Jesus, I'm willing to see how much pleasure I get about defying the will of God.
Is there still holding with that?
I hear yes.
Yeah, I do too. Uh, Is it helpful to look at limitation?
I don't hear that.
Okay.
I hear relishing the defiance. I don't know, Mary, what are you hearing?
Relishing what?
The defiance.
Yeah, we looked at that this week. I saw that I was relishing the arrogance and the defiance of not wanting to ask God, not want to turn to God. Yeah, relishing that. Like there's heaven in that. Somehow there's a backwardness about it, thinking there's salvation and defying God.
That question comes back to mind. Am I willing to see the pleasure? And I hear that I'm willing, but there's more. There's more, because there's so much. There's really like a wanting, or that there's pleasure and defiance. Like I'd rather die than go to God.
How are we doing on timing? Yeah, it feels like time to,
Yeah.
that it's complete for now.
Yeah. I can see there's more relishing. However, there's also arriving at that point where it's like, okay, there's more relishing, and it's like,
Yeah, just Jesus is controlling how much time we spend on it. And then you just come back and,
mhm.
okay, Jesus, I guess I'll be relishing that tonight.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Renee.
Mm.